No, so now I want to have it about the various members of the mafia. The first one is, of course, the big boss Vincent Junta. Avenue Dion 5141 is his office in the city of Mons, Belgium. He's, as I said, he's specialized in estate law. He was on purpose, purposely referred to us. We were referred to him, sorry, by another member of the mafia, which was Mr. Filipino, who died, public notary, in the village of Silly, which is very much plagued by the mafia, actually. And many people in Silly have most probably used that illegal financial construction as I said, one of the main actor, one of the main builder of that illegal financial construction was no one else than a person which was very prominent in Silly, as he was the head of the local agency, local Belfius Bank agency, Mr. Soutens, who actually most probably made like recruitment work, prospective work, so to lure people into participating and into doing money laundering. And this is how actually the system has been put into place in the village of Silly, including the protection by police forces and most probably money laundering by local authorities. And so he referred to us to Vincent Junta. Vincent Junta, he's a lawyer who was most probably the thinker behind the well thought of mafia proceedings 161553A at the district court of West Flanders division of Bruges in Belgium. Okay, and you have to know that Mr. Vincent Junta also revealed to us that he knew someone, a friend of him, most probably a member of the mafia as well, who could start up a company, screen company in the American state of Delaware, and he told us that the Belgian fiscal authorities are like dragging their hair because they don't know what to do with those screen companies, and they don't know how to get information regarding screen companies, shadow companies put into place or built, erected in the American state of Delaware. So we guess that because Master Junta, while he was the lawyer supposed to defend the interests of the children, which he did not, of course, he used sometimes to mock us by revealing things about mafia activities, just playing the fool with us, and that was his style also. Mr. Vincent Junta is also the one who is hiding bank statements regarding a Belfius bank account of my mother Costa Betty, because when we got scared, following disclosures of Longeval Caroline, we asked, my ex-wife asked also to get bank statements regarding all bank accounts of my mother, the Costa Betty, and Mr. Vincent Junta insisted that he would ask them and for us, and that actually when he gave them to us, but instead of giving us all bank statements regarding to all bank accounts, they gave us many bank statements regarding the bank accounts of Costa Betty, except one sheet for one bank account, telling us that there was nothing else. We believe that there is something else, that there are bank statements which are hidden, and that these bank statements might have been sent at the address, are still hidden by the mafia. So that is just one thing. Mr. Vincent Junta always acted towards acceptance of the legacy of our children, while we entrusted him with doing everything so that the children could dismiss the legacy. This is just a few examples of what he did, but still he's still manipulating and behind the scenes now. Although we have fired him, he's still acting behind the scenes, conducting the operations against us, so that I could be put into jail, my ex-wife could be put into jail, and the children could be illegally and forcefully indebted. Because you have to know that even if the children are forced to accept the legacy, of course, he tried to deceive us by saying, okay, children can only accept the legacy up to zero. But he was deliberately omitting to tell that actually, even if somebody, like let alone children minor in age, accept the legacy, they are, in case of fictive assets, they are eligible to pay penalties or to pay estate rights, calculated on the basis of those fictive assets. And since my mother lent a bank account that was used by the mafia, then we suppose that there must be a tremendous amount of fictive assets that would one day be revealed. And if these fictive assets would one day be revealed, the fiscal authority would say, hey, what happened? Who accepted the legacy? The children have to accept the legacy. Oh, they have to pay. And the children would be destroyed and ruined for all their lives, because everything is hidden. Also, you have to know that we asked, of course, a true inventory of the goods of my mother Costa Betty, but we never got it, of course. The mafia would never, the children, because the rule of law in Belgium is so that if they are minor in age involved as potential heirs to a legacy, they have a right to an inventory with an oath from all all adults that are also involved as potential heirs. But of course, the children don't have to swear an oath. I didn't have because I have, and I don't have because I dismissed the legacy. The children have dismissed the legacy. Nobody has to swear an oath. But we asked that they would swear an oath, and instead of that, we never got the inventory we were entitled to get under Belgian rule of law. That is a thorough inventory, circumscribed and with oath from all potential heirs. That is Longeval Nicolas, Longeval Bernard, Longeval Caroline, and we also asked that a certain Mr. Pierre Vanipazel would be there to swear an oath regarding the disclosures made by my sister Longeval Caroline in 2013 that he had put into place an illegal financial construction. But of course, they were instructed by Mr. Vincent Diunta to pretend that they don't know about anything, because fake evidence have also been construed, made, using two other mafia members, as I already mentioned. Mr. Nicolas Dewey was living 23 Rue de la Sille in Helleberg, Belgium. He moved there especially on command of the mafia, so that there would be a certain proximity with my computer at home, and he could then crack down my computer. He could then make these transactions behind my back, leaving physical evidence on my computer, and that is part of one plan that was used. Also, he has a fellow mafia member, a counterpart, at the place where I was working, and Mr. Diunta knows about everything. That is the Federal Public Service Social Security at the Finance Tower in Belgium, where a guy, member of the data processing department, actually most probably contacted by Mr. Vincent Diunta, was told to work very close to the place where I used to work there when I was there, and because a certain proximity was necessary for physical reasons again. And this guy was, of course, detached from the data processing department, who was located a story higher. So there was a problem of proximity, and this guy was detached, and his activities, his criminal activities. He was a cyber criminal, just like Nicolas Dewey. His cyber criminal activities were covered under a fake name. That fake name was that fake job title, which was Information Security Officer, while he was not at all doing that, and while he was actually doing the contrary. Mr. Vincent Diunta knows about everything. He knows it very well. He's the one behind everything. Same, he's the one behind Mr. Nicolas Dewey, whose activities was living 23 Rue de la Sille, but who was pretending to be a lawyer to us and who took great care to hide his activities, and of course whose criminal activities were covered by the local police in the city of Silly. Why? Because, as I told you, we strongly believe that the local authorities of the city of Silly have committed money laundering using that illegal construction that many other people in Silly, like Filipino, public notary, has laundered money doing this way, behind my back, using my name, using my identity behind my back, and that and of course they relied on whom they relied on. They all relied on Nicolas Dewey. Nicolas Dewey was a good friend of the local authorities in the city of Silly. He was a very famous person, very famous criminal, very well known around in the Silly and the surroundings. We know other people who have performed money laundering, like the family Van der Straten in Erne, and they were organizing gatherings. Also, he had many friends who were fellow money launderers and who relied on him for their money laundering activities, where my computer was cracked down, actually behind my back. Same was put into place at the Federal Public Service Social Security, and Mr. Vincent Duntin knows it, and Mr. Till Emmanuel, also another mafia member, knows it very well. And many other people at the Federal Public Service Social Security knew about everything, but of course they were bound by the omerta rule. They didn't talk. I'm thinking about my hierarchical superior called Christian Hutz, but also Cindy Jossa, Natasha Knappen was secretary of the boss, and of course the boss of the Federal Public Service Social Security, Mr. Frank van Massenhoven. They all knew about what was going on and that I was the target of mafia activities. Thank you.